Hello again. This is Math 1218 coming to you from the College of DuPage, and the title of this lecture is Logic Exam Solutions and Such for Spring of 23. As always, please be attentive while watching this video. Once upon a time, I had a student who wrote the correct answers when I went over the exam in class in the margin of their very messy test paper and claimed that they were there all the time and that I missed them on every problem they did not get correct. And in fact, they were brazen enough to do this on more than one exam. Consequently, my new policy is that answers must be shown in Blackboard to qualify for any credit. Your scratch paper will be evaluated for potential partial credit only if an authentic answer is shown in Blackboard. People did reasonably well on the test. This is your grading scale, and this is how people did. You can see that 4 people scored in the A range, 8 scored in the B range, 8 scored in the C range, and some scored below that. Again, there's much opportunity to improve your scores as we go forward. Let's go through the problems quickly. Number 1 was a fuzzy logic problem. Assume that P has a truth value of 0.27, Q has a truth value of 0.64, and R has a truth value of 0.71. Find the truth value of this expression. Well, if you do the disjunction of those two, you take the larger of the two, so you get 0.64. If you negate that, you subtract it from 1, you get 0.36. Similarly here, what you do is you take the minimum of those two because that's a conjunction, getting 0.64, and you get into 36. So this is 0.36. If 0.36, then 0.36. But this is negation, 0.36 or 0.36. This is going to be 0.64 or 0.36 is 0.64. Is it possible for there to be a truth table with 1,024 rows? And the answer is no, because a truth table with n variables has 2 to the n rows, and you jump from 512 to 1024, going from 9 to 10, so it is not possible to have 1022. Explain using words and Euler diagrams why the following syllogism is either valid or not valid. All athletes are fit. Julio is not an athlete, therefore Julio is not fit. Well, athletes are contained in fit people, but Julio could be here, so this is not valid. I gave you an argument here. If Dave is alone tonight, he will not come to the party. If Dave is not alone tonight or does not come to the party, then he will work on his term paper. Dave will not work on his term paper tonight, therefore Dave is not alone tonight. So here is the translation. A implies not P. If A, then not P. That is, A implies not P. That's one statement. And then the next statement is negation A or negation P implies T. And then negation T, therefore negation A. Now to prove this without using truth tables, you can recognize that if you take the contrapositive of this statement, you get negation T implies negation of this expression, but then we use De Morgan's law, and this changes to negation T implies A and P. Now, since negation T was here, and so it is above the line, so we assume that's true. That means negation T implies A and P. That means A and P is true, and that means both A and P are true, so not A is false. So this has to be a not valid argument. We are to complete the truth table here. We do it row by row. Here's the calculations, and you end up with all of these should be true in 5. In 6, we wanted to find out if this is a valid argument. So it is R. R implies negation Q, P or Q, therefore P. So we build a truth table. Here's the truth table that we build, having all the statements in it. Here's the column for R. Here's the column for R implies negation Q, and here's the column for P or Q. So we cross out every place where R is false. That's the blue. We cross out everywhere where R implies negation P is false. That's the red. And then we cross out all places where P or Q is false. And we end up that the only thing that's left is P is true. And so this is a valid argument. I asked you to tell me what is the logical description of the circuit, and that was part A, and then I asked you to figure out the outputs. So you should have had two answers. The green answer, either of these would have been correct. You see you can go the upper lower branch, and then you got this again. So this is P or Q, or P or R. And it turns out if you did some Boolean algebra on that, you could have had this being P or Q or R. But in any case, you will have ones except for the last truth row. Question 8 asks, is P and not Q logically equivalent to if P then Q? And you say, well, build the truth table, and this truth column is not the same as this truth column, so these are not logically equivalent. Statement 9 asks you to negate each quantified statement. Some scientists believe there is a God. The only way that can be false is if no scientists believe there is a God. All factories emit toxic waste. That means at least one factory does not emit toxic waste. Number 10, you were to give an example of a valid syllogism that has a false statement for its conclusion. And it was clearly a false statement for its conclusion. And here you were to give an example of an invalid syllogism that has a true statement for its conclusion. This was perhaps one of the more difficult things, because you had to say what was a valid syllogism and what was true, and something that was definitely true. Someone said, oh, my dog is purple. Well, there could be a purple dog. I don't know. So anyway, let's look. Again, I did evaluate your solution. Here is something that is a valid syllogism. If it is Tuesday, then the moon is made of green cheese. It is Tuesday, therefore the moon is made of green cheese. So this is a valid because it's the law of detachment. But the moon is not made of green cheese. That is a false statement. The second example, and again we're having an invalid syllogism. This is the fallacy of the converse. If Purdue is a university in Indiana, then the sun shines. The sun shines, therefore Purdue is a university in Indiana. Now, this is an invalid syllogism, but it is true that Purdue is a university in Indiana. In closing, now more than ever, time is precious. Each day must count. Do the math, it'll make you strong. And now more than ever, take care of yourself, because self-care is important. And take care of each other, because we're all in this together. We have a score now, but there's many scores to attain, so don't quit. The road is long, and there is great reward at the end. God bless you all, and I'll see you in class.